Making pasta at home does not have to be complicated. I used to overcomplicate it all the time, and I would get so frustrated and banish homemade pasta in my Italian household. I know, a sin, but I have a couple tricks that I want to teach you that have simplified the whole process for me, and now I can make pasta on a whim on a Tuesday night with 30 minutes to dinner if I so choose. So come along with me and I'll show you just how easy it can be. You will never want box pasta again. I've got 360 grams of pre-measured flour in this bowl with a sprinkle of salt. I'm going to be adding 4 eggs to this, which means for every 90 grams of flour, you'll be adding 1 egg. Today, we're using free-range large eggs that give it a beautiful yellow color. Now, to a seasoned pasta maker, using a bowl might seem silly. My nonna used to use the board right below this bowl and just work the flour in slowly. This is one of my simplifications. Do it in a bowl and mix in your eggs into the flour and salt, and you don't have to worry about making a mess everywhere. It's contained. Now, as it starts to come together, you'll take it off the fork, give it a little bit of a mix in the bowl, leave the crumbs that don't stick to it, take it out and put it on your countertop or your wood board. From here, you're going to knead the dough, and I'll teach you how, for 10 minutes. As you start to knead it, you use both hands, drawing it back about middle of the dough and pushing back with your palm. Now you may notice that some pieces don't stick to it. Just move those out of the way. They don't belong. The dough really should get the consistency of Play-Doh at the 8-minute mark, where you'll continue to knead for 2 minutes. For a total of 10 minutes, it will be silky smooth. Now, if you absolutely have to add water, just moisten your hands and grab the dough all around, putting it back and working that liquid into it. But Jess, how will I know if I have to add water? Well, it'll be really, really dry, very difficult to work with, even after kneading it for 4 to 5 minutes. If by 5 minutes your dough is not more pliable, just moisten your hands and moisten the dough. Oh. Okay, hang on. Just delete that whole thing. As you can see while I'm kneading, the dough doesn't exactly stick to itself when I fold it halfway. Don't panic and add more water. This is the perfect consistency for a pasta dough as long as it's smooth like Play-Doh dough. Play-Doh? Play-Doh. Now, I never used to knead my dough for 10 minutes. At 5 minutes, I thought that was more than enough. But something magical happens between 8 and 10 minutes, and the dough goes from together and kind of smooth to silky, buttery perfection. Once it's been 10 minutes and your dough is smooth, turn it over so all the folds are at the bottom, and using your fingers, make a ball and put it into some saran wrap, tightly wrapped. Once it's wrapped up, let it rest for 30 minutes, and then let's roll it out. The next part tends to be the part that people overthink. How do I roll out my pasta? Well, if you have a fancy KitchenAid attachment, you can do it with one of those auto machines, but I have the old school hand crank machine here. You could also roll it out with a rolling pin. I've never done it, but my nonna sure has. Next, what you're gonna do is take that rested dough look at this. Look how soft and supple this is. Take that dough, cut it into 4 if you have 4 eggs. I just don't like to work with large pieces. It's way easier to roll out if they're smaller. Work with 1 piece at a time, and the other pieces, wrap them up with saran so that they don't dry out while you're working with the other one. Have flour ready. See how it's a triangle? We don't want to work with a triangle when we put it into a machine. So using your hands, make it into a disc or a rectangle, whatever is easiest for you, and flatten it out. Have your machine on the widest setting and start feeding that rectangle through. I like to feed it through a couple times. Now, sometimes your pasta is misshapen or it's a little crackly and you need to fold it over itself and re-roll it to get it smooth. I like to put the pasta through to one next size and fold it like a letter, then go back to the large size and put it through. Once you have a nice, decent rectangular shape at the widest setting, you're gonna run it through each of the settings until you get to about 7, 2 times. So that means going to 2, then making it more narrow, going to 3, rolling it out, And do each number 2 times, dusting your pasta with flour as you need to prevent it from sticking in the machine. Now, once you've got it to your desired thickness, I just like to liberally flour the pasta sheet, and then you're gonna leave it to dry a little bit before you cut your pasta shape. I'm working with my last piece of dough, and in case it wasn't clear, you don't have to fold it over like everybody online says. Folding it over does have benefits. It can reduce air bubbles in the dough, and it could make for a smoother dough, and you have better control over the width of it. But if you are in a pinch and you're not Gordon Ramsay, you don't have to make perfect pasta slices or perfect pasta rollout doughs, whatever. You can put it through the machine without ever folding it onto itself. That had no rolling out, and the air bubbles that I had in it, not a problem at all. Honestly, in a rush, I don't even let my dough sit for 30 minutes. I roll it right away, and I don't do the folding process. The trick to cutting pasta that doesn't stick to itself is letting it dry for enough time that it's a bit of a stiffer dough. The trick to not having pasta that breaks on you when you roll it is to make sure that it's still malleable when you cut it. So here I have that first sheet of pasta dough that feels dry enough to throw through the machine. Let me show you when you lift a dry one that's ready for cutting versus a fresh one that is not ready to be cut. All right, I'm gonna gather my pasta sheets and then flour my surface because this is where I'm going to be putting the cut pasta. Let's do this. I like to get my hand under when it's halfway so I can grab them in a group and then plop them nice and loosely on the wood board or your counter, whatever you got. So I always cup my pasta when it comes out of the cutters, and using my opposite hand, I pull that back piece forward and wrap it around to make a beautiful nest. Now let's say those nests are pissing you off and you can't figure them out. You can let your pasta fall through the cutter and just lightly separate all the pieces on the floured surface and leave them like that. To recap, the 2 best tips I have for you as a pasta making novice: use a bowl to mix your dough and knead it for 10 minutes. Your dough will be supple and easier to work with. If you're in a pinch for time, you don't have to let them sit for 30 minutes. The dough will just be a little bit more firm passing it through the pasta machine. From here, you don't have to let them dry. You can cook them right away. They cook in a salted boiling pot of water in like 2 to 3 minutes, or to taste, whatever you like. There's something about homemade egg pasta noodles that hit different on the palate. They're silky, they're smooth, and they're delicious. Our boys gobble up their first plate and beg for seconds every time. If you have picky eaters, this is the recipe you want to try and serve them. I'm off to boil some water and serve my boys some dinner, and I hope you try this recipe. Click like and subscribe so you don't miss our next video.